deepened and strengthened. The belief that strong institutions are essential for economic progress and for the stability of our societies. After careful reflection, extensive professional consultations, and a comprehensive assessment of the opportunities emerging in the global digital economy, I have reached an important decision. Today, I'm pleased to announce a strategic investment in the Nation Media Group PLC, one of the most respected media institutions on the African continent. This institution, headquartered here in Kenya, has for decades played a central role in shaping public discourse across East Africa and strengthening the ties between the peoples of our region. Through this investment, I'll join the company as a shareholder and a long-term strategic partner, supporting its continued growth, innovation, and transformation in the digital age. This partnership brings together Taifa Group and Nation Media Group in a shared commitment to strengthening East Africa's media ecosystem and supporting the continued growth of trusted journalism and Africa storytelling across our region. As part of this transaction, Tarifa Limited, an affiliate of Taifa Group, has agreed to acquire the shareholding previously held by the Aga Khan Fund for Economic Development in NPRT Holdings Africa Limited, a Kenyan company that holds a majority shareholding in the Nation Media Group. Upon completion of the transaction, Tarifa Limited will hold 92,618,177 ordinary shares, representing 54.08% of the issued share capital of the Nation Media Group. Before continuing, I would like to acknowledge and pay tribute to the extraordinary contribution of His Highness the Aga Khan and the Aga Khan Development Network in building and supporting independent media institutions across East Africa. Through their stewardship, Nation Media Group has grown into one of the most respected journalistic institutions on our continent. The values that have guided that stewardship, professionalism, independence, and public service deserve recognition and respect. This partnership honors the legacy and strengthens the institutions for the opportunities of a new digital age. My own relationship with the media industry began more than 2 decades ago, so I'm not new in this field. 26 years ago, I had the privilege of being one of the founding investors in the Mwananchi Communications Limited in Tanzania, an institution that has since grown into one of the most important influential pillars of the country's media landscape. In 2003, I invited His Highness the Aga Khan to become an investor in Mwananchi Communication. I traveled to Paris, met him, and convinced him to be a partner in the media group that I had started in Tanzania, the Mwananchi Limited. He graciously accepted that invitation, bringing with him a long-standing commitment to the development of strong and independent media institutions in our region. At that time, many African economies were entering a new phase following the end of Cold War. Market reforms, private enterprise, and open societies were reshaping the economic landscape of our continent. Our shared belief was that a strong media institution would play an essential role helping societies navigate these changes by providing credible information, encouraging public dialogue, and supporting economic transformation. So myself and His Highness the Aga Khan shared that vision. that it was necessary to have strong media to try and help change the mindset after the end of Cold War. As you would remember, countries like Tanzania had changed their policies from government owning all levels of the economy and allowing the private sector to get involved. So we needed a media that would help shape and would help change the mindset of people, that we are now transforming the country from what it used to be, what policies of market-driven economy. Following discussions with His Highness himself, I agreed to sell my shares in Mwananchi Communication in order to allow the institution to continue its growth under the stewardship and long-term vision. In many ways, the step we take today represents a full circle in that journey. More than 2 decades ago, we worked together to build strong media institution in East Africa. Today, we continue the journey, guided by the same belief that credible and independent journalism is essential for the development of our society. I repeat, guided by the same belief that credible and independent journalism is essential for the development of our societies. Ladies and gentlemen, the media group has played a central role in informing citizens, strengthening public dialogue, and supporting democratic accountability across East Africa. Institutions of this stature are not merely companies. They are guardians of public knowledge and platforms for civic dialogue. Journalism is ultimately investing in its own ability to understand itself, to question itself, and to move forward with wisdom. Information, like energy, is one of the most important resources in modern societies. When societies have access to reliable information, they are better able to understand them. Allow me to highlight 3 principles that guide. This is an investment in the future of journalism in Africa. It is undergoing profound transformation. Digital technology is reshaping how information is produced, distributed, and consumed. At its heart, journalism is about storytelling, the abilities of society to tell their own stories with authenticity, depth, and integrity. Africa's story is increasingly being written by Africans themselves. Through institutions such as Nation Media Group, we have the opportunity to ensure that the voices, experiences, and aspirations of our region are told with professionalism, confidence, and clarity. Second, this partnership reflects a belief in the regional integration and shared progress. Across East Africa, we often speak about regional integration. But integration is not built through speeches alone. It is built through investments, partnerships, and long-term commitment to the region we share. East Africa is one of the most dynamic regions in the world. Our economies are increasingly connected, our cultures deeply intertwined, and our people united by shared aspirations for opportunity and development. Long before the modern borders of our states were drawn, the peoples of East Africa traded together, traveled together, and shared languages, cultures, and ideas. Those bonds remain part of who we are today. The peoples of East Africa continue to be connected by many ties that bind us. Our history, our cultures, our languages, and the customs that have shaped our societies across generations. Through investments such as this, we strengthen those bonds and contribute to the telling of our shared stories. The partnership we announced today also reflects a growing spirit of cooperation across East Africa. Kenya and Tanzania have long shared deep economic and cultural ties. But the story of Nation Media Group extends across the wider region, including Uganda and Rwanda, whose societies, economies, and public conversations are increasingly connected. In many ways, investments such as this reflect the broader aspirations of the East African community to build a region where ideas, enterprise, and opportunity move freely across borders, strengthening prosperity for all our peoples. Third, this partnership is grounded in commitment to editorial professionalism and institutional credibility. I repeat, this partnership is grounded in a commitment to editorial professionalism and institutional credibility. Strong journalism is built on credibility, professionalism, and responsible editorial leadership. A media institution earns public trust through rigorous reporting, balanced perspectives, and commitment to facts. My role as an investor is to support the strength of the institution, ensuring that it has the resources, leadership, and stability required to continue serving the public with professionalism and integrity. Today's announcement also reflects something deeper about the evolution media in East Africa. For many decades, strong media institutions in our region were built through partnership between African entrepreneurs and international development partners who believed in the importance of independent journalism. The future of African media institutions will increasingly be shaped by African enterprise and African investment. We will continue to work with partners around the world, but we must also have the confidence to build and strengthen our own institutions. Every generation inherits institutions built by those who came before it. The responsibility of leadership is not simply to benefit from those institutions, but to strengthen them for those who will come after us. Beyond media, my investment journey has extended across sectors central to Africa's economic transformation. We have been involved in the telecom sector. We founded Vodacom Tanzania in 1999, which is a sister company to Safaricom. I was the founder of that company at the time when mobile connectivity was only beginning to expand across the continent. After many years of growth, I exited my investment in Vodacom Tanzania in 2019. My commitment to digital connectivity continued through participation in the consortium that took over Tigo, which was the third largest mobile telecom company in Tanzania then, together with a group called Axian Telecom. We took over the third biggest telecom company is in Tanzania after exiting Vodacom. And in the last 3 years that I have been involved in Tigo, which is now called Yas, it is now, I would say, pretty much the #1 mobile telecom company of Tanzania, from being third to almost being #1. It's neck and neck with Vodacom Tanzania that I had created many years earlier. So you can see when I enter a company, I turn it around. I make it more successful from third to number one. Within 3 years, the EBITDA has more than doubled of that company through investment. We believe in investment. You don't invest, you die. So, I think you can be rest assured that our entry to Nation Media Group will only strengthen the Nation Media Group by investment, by more professionalism, by independence that you guys enjoy. We'll continue with that. You should be rest assured by that. So, I'm in the energy sector as well. We are involved in the gas industry. We, throughout the region, Tanzania, Rwanda. We're building the biggest terminal in Mombasa, which is about to be completed. It's the largest gas terminal in Africa. From Cape Town to Cairo, the Mombasa terminal will be the biggest one in the whole of the continent. And we're building depots across Kenya in 9 different cities to make sure that gas is easily available to our people, to our villages, to homes. And that is through investment. So we believe in investment for growth. We are in solar energy in Tanzania. We are involved in the mining industry both in Tanzania and Zambia. We're in agriculture, we're in logistics, we're in various industries across the region. Through these investments, the guiding principle has remained consistent: supporting sectors that connect people, empower businesses, and contribute to long-term economic development. Strong institutions are not built overnight. They are built patiently over decades through the dedication of journalists, editors, readers, investors, and citizens who believe in the value of truth and public dialogue. Our responsibility today is to strengthen these institutions so that they may continue to serve generations yet to come. At its heart, this partnership is guided by 3 simple commitments. A commitment to strong institutions that serve the public interest, a commitment to professional journalism that informs and empowers citizens, and a commitment to a confident East Africa telling its own stories and engaging with the world on its own terms. Because when the people of the region tell their own stories, they also shape their own future. To the journalists, editors, and audiences of the Nation Media Group, I say this: your legacy will be respected, your institution will be strengthened, and your role in shaping the future of our region will continue to be valued. As someone who began his journey many years ago in Tabora, I'm reminded that every great institution begins with a simple belief: the belief that progress is possible when people work together with vision, discipline, and shared purpose. The partnership we announced today is guided by that same belief. We are honored to build upon a strong foundation that has been laid over decades by those who believe in the importance of independent journalism in East Africa. The story of Nation Media Group is deeply woven in the story of East Africa itself, a story of dialogue, resilience, cooperation, and constant search for progress. Today we open a new chapter in that story, one that will be written by the people, institutions, and ideas of East Africa itself. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your continued commitment to the future of journalism in East Africa. Asanteni sana.
very much, Rostam. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, after that, without a doubt, you have questions that you would like answered by Rostam and his team at the front table. We're going to transition to a Q&A session, and I will request, Jarvis, have you got a mic? Please. We'll, just if you can raise your hand, someone will come to you with a mic, one of us. Please state your name and the media house you represent and go straight to your question.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Kenna. I work for People Daily. That's the media. I work for People Daily. That's a media large group of companies. One of the key concerns, and you've kept repeating it and all that, is the issue of credibility and independence. Currently, the main advertiser is the government, and they pose and all that. How do you plan to ensure that you remain credible and as well attract advertisements from the government? Because what we have seen in the past is that a shrinking in terms of advertisements, and that has led to layoffs. My second question is the issue of investments. Just a few days ago, the company announced it was closing down bureaus, I think cost-cutting measures. You've talked of how to grow these investments. Are you going to do the contrary? Are you going to boost investments? And then finally, there's always the commercial interest that comes. Do we expect layoffs in the nation media? Thank you.
Layoffs. Shall I answer and then we move on?
Yes.
I think that will be better. Thank you very much. Was it Kenna?
Yes.
Thank you for your questions. First of all, it is true that the government is a main advertiser in the media. And how does that then conflict with the independence of the media? My simple answer is, you cannot run your media company by depending on advertisements alone. You need to strengthen your media outlets so that they're able to sustain even in the diminished or reduced advertisements that may come from the government. I said earlier, one of the reasons that we started Wananchi and Citizen in Tanzania, and I approached His Highness to join me, was a shared vision that we need to strengthen the private sector. Now, luckily in Kenya, you have a very large private sector. So the advertisements, much as government has a lot of it, but the private sector also has a lot of, as they gain strength, there'll be advertising. So we are not going to compromise on the independence of our media company because of advertisements. This is where you need to invest. And you need to find different sources of revenue other than advertisements from the government. This is where you need to expand your media company to be able to reach the wider public. For example, as I look at the Nation today, the Nation Media Group today, the Nation Media Group today is catering for 30 and above. It hasn't really transformed itself in areas where they need to reach the bigger population, which is the less than 30. These are the small enterprises, these are the new businesses that come up, and they need to be attracted into using or accessing medias like the Nation media to be able to market their goods, to be able to access the information, to be able to access the markets that they need to reach. So there needs to be a little changes in the way traditional media groups work. We need to transform them in order to cater for a wider readership, listenership, and access, so that much as they would access the information to do with their businesses, but also they would be inclined to advertise in the company, in the media company that we want to transform it into. So I'm not at all worried about government, feeling that they do not wish to advertise in a certain media because of, fear of being independent. I think we are prepared for that, and we're here for the long haul. As you build credibility, as you build more readership, as you build more listenership, that same government will be compelled to advertise in the newspapers or TVs that you have, because that you need to be the one that has bigger access to the population for the government to be compelled to advertise in your media. If you're weak, the government can do away with you. But if you're strong, and if you have wider coverage, and you reach a greater population of the country, people will be compelled, whether they're private sector or government, to advertise. So strength is the answer to the question. You need to be a much stronger media, where the government and the private sector will be compelled to use it to advertise their services or their goods and services that they require. And I think you touched on the, they're shutting this or that. I think it's too early for me to comment on that. We have to analyze and see what it is that is being shut. And this is all the work in progress at the moment. Because our intention is to expand, not to reduce. Our intention is to reach a wider community. For example, the median age of Kenya is pretty young. I think you have one of the youngest populations in the world. So the media has also got to be geared to reach that constituency. So you need more investment, not less investment. So one thing I can assure you is that we invest. We invest because we believe that it's an investment that brings you returns. If you stop investment, you will die as a company. And I think this is where we need to be actually to make everybody feel that this is going to be a much stronger media than it has been. It's going to reach a wider population than it has in the past. It will evolve into a modern media group that caters for the ones they were catering for, but also caters for the ones that it was not catering for, therefore bringing all the Kenyans into using the services that the Nation Media Group will be providing. And that's when I touched on the transformation of the company to cater for the younger population through digital age that we're seeing everywhere. But you can see there's a lot of innovations, there's a lot of technologies that are coming in. You need fresh look at these things. You need to be ready to invest in order to reap the results. Because if you don't invest, you will become smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's why maybe you have this problem of shutting down things to cut costs. Our intention is to invest, not to cut costs. but to increase investment so we can actually be more profitable. The company has to be more profitable, and you can only be profitable if you invest and not by shutting down and cutting down. So I want to assure the employees of the Nation Media Group that our intention is to expand, not reduce. So there will be more jobs created rather than less jobs created. There'll be more jobs as we go forward because we need to transform. We need to cater for every Kenyan, not just a certain group of Kenyans, in order for this to be a successful partnership. So that is my response to your questions.
Do we have another question? A follow-up question? It appears that the information that's gone out has been very robust, including this one.
Please, let's engage. Let's engage.
Please, go ahead.
Ken, leo namzungumzia kila mtu hapa. Karibu.
I'm not good in Swahili, but Taifa Leo, the oldest brand here, nation, according to the teachers and all that, haijakuwa
haileti faida, ha?
haijakuwa ikileta faida, lakini kuna ile sababu ni ya ule mtoto wa kwanza na ile kutunza. Wewe ni mwanabiashara, so pengine utaangalia watu walikuwa wanasema waifungwe. Na swali la pili, the second question is your close proximity to the current president and all that. Maybe you could just think, because what is circulating there is that what he has been lacking is a mouthpiece, and therefore you coming in, you are going to act as his mouthpiece to serve his agenda and all that. And finally, the rivalry between Kenya and Tanzania is that people are surprised. There's a tendency, and sorry to say this, Kenyans are narrating Tanzanians and says,
the what, sir?
Kenyans are narrating Tanzanians. Tanzania is buying a Kenyan company because all that we have had is Kenyan banks and apps and all that dominating the East African market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me start with this. Kenya is speaking on behalf of many of you here. Let me say this. He's talked about Taifa Leo being losing money. To have a comprehensive media group, you need to cater for everybody. There will be certain outlets like Taifa Leo or many others that may not make money, but those will be cross-subsidized by those that make a lot of money. So there's no need to shut down a certain publication because it's losing money. When you start doing that, then you're going to cannibalize the company. You need to be able, you need to be creative enough that other elements of the company need to make enough money to be able to sustain that ile gazeti ambalo linapata matatizo kidogo, tunasema lina chechemea. Ukiona linachechemea unatakiwa kulibeba na kwenda nalo, sio kuliacha life peke yake. Kwa hiyo we're going to be creative about that. We have those companies are not making money, but others are making money in order to sustain because they complement each other. So that is all that I need to say on that. You have you know, even you see in business There's a misconception that in business, all you look for is profit. Yes, you look for profit in the long run. But in order to get profit in the long run, you need to invest. You need to be creative. You need to make, for example, Taifa Leo needs to be maybe tweaked to be more attractive for people to read it. Maybe less people read than they should. So all these things are things that need to be worked on. We are long-term investors. We are not traders. That's why you see in all the areas that we've invested, they're all long-term projects. I mean, if you invest in gas, you're going to see your first profits in year 9 or 10. You don't see it in year 1 or 2. You need to invest a lot of money before you see profit. If you're in telecom, it's a huge investment. It's the same thing. You will see money much later down the road. If you invest in power sector, which is the energy sector, you're going to see your profits much later. So we are the kind of investors that are for the long ride and not for a short-term gain. Be true for a trader. The trader needs his money today, his profit today. If you look at our portfolio, it's all long-term investments. Different. This is a long-term investment. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of investment. And we shall make it. The issue of you touched on my closeness to His Excellency the President. I am to Ruto. I was closer to Mzee Raila, who was a guest of honor at my daughter's wedding in Tanzania. He flew in to Dar es Salaam and came back after the wedding the same night. A lot of people. Because I believe in relationships. Relationships have nothing to do with commercial considerations. I'm very close to the leadership in Zambia. I'm very close to the leadership in Uganda. I'm close to leadership all around our region. And that's exactly what I've been emphasizing, that in order to build a stronger East African community, you need to build relations. Businessmen relations with everybody, including the leadership of every country. So just be assured that Ruto is not my first leader in Kenya to be friends with, or I would not even say friends, but somebody who knows. Leaders of the past are also friends of mine. Invest in Kenya. He called me up and said, come and invest in Kenya. And I got all my licenses of my Taifa gas in Mombasa during his presidency. All the licenses granted to us to build that big terminal in Mombasa were given to us by Uhuru Kenyatta and not by Ruto. So we are friends with Ruto, we are friends with Raila, we are friends with the late Raila. I'm sorry to say, he's no longer with us, and so on and so forth. So that's to answer your question there. I think these were the questions you asked. And
Kenya, Tanzania rebels.
Rivalry. Nimepuuza hilo swali. I decided to ignore that question because I think we complement each other. We complement each other. We are not rivals. For those that think we're rivals are being trivial. They're trivial. It is the unity and the cooperation of Tanzania and Kenya that makes us strong. Kenya alone is not as strong as you think if it didn't have the cooperation with Tanzania and Uganda and Rwanda. It's that cooperation, it's that unity, that strength that makes you strong. Not the rivalry. Wakenya inabidi mbadilike kidogo. So many alama za nyakati. We are strong together. We complement each other. What you don't have, we have. What we don't have, you have. And together we will build a much stronger economy if we look at the region as one. Mwanze kuamini kwamba Kenya sio mkubwa kuliko wenzake wote, ni we are equals here. And there is no rivalry. Kenya has more investments in Tanzania than Tanzania has investments here. You said Tanzanians are buying things in Kenya. You know how many Kenyan companies are in Tanzania? All of them. There's probably $2.5 billion, $3 billion of investments in Tanzania today. There's hardly $200 million of investment from Tanzania to Kenya. So Kenyans need to understand that the strength of Kenya is through the cooperation with its neighbors. We make Kenya great, and Kenya makes Tanzania great. And together we should make East Africa great again. Do we understand each other? We need to change our mindset. Times have changed. Times have changed. We're no longer big brother and someone who is a nobody. We are equals. And we need to live with the reality of today and tomorrow, where we need to see the strength of us being together and not being separate. We are not rivals. Let's have that in the mindset of the Kenyans. We're a big population. You are a big population. You have things that we don't have, and we have a lot of things that you don't have. So together with Uganda and Rwanda and Burundi, we can be a very serious bloc that can grow from strength to strength through cooperation. In Tanzania, we don't look at, oh, yule Mkenya amekuja kuinvest hapa. No, no, no. All your banks are there. All your insurance companies, we hardly have Tanzanian insurance companies. We hardly have Tanzania. They're all Kenyan banks, insurance companies from Kenya, and so on and so forth. Even this media that we're talking about today, Nation Media Group was my partner in 2003. I invited NMG to Tanzania, and I gave them majority shareholding. It's a Kenyan company, was it not? I invited Nation Media Group to Tanzania in 2003 and say, NMG, come and take majority share company in Tanzania. So you should not find it strange that a Tanzanian now comes to Kenya and say, okay, I want to buy something. You should be very happy about that. You come there and we come here. We go to Uganda, Ugandans come to Kenya, Ugandans go to Tanzania. This is how we build a strong East Africa. The mindset in Kenya should change. They need to understand that we need equity in this relationship. You can come and invest in Tanzania. We should be allowed to come and invest in Kenya. Ukiona mtu anatoka China, anatoka India, Uingereza is fine, but the Tanzanian is a problem. No, it shouldn't be like that. A lot of trade. I think Tanzania and Kenya are the biggest trading partners. You supply a lot of goods to Tanzania, we supply a lot of goods to Kenya. This is how we build our economies. We allow Kenyans to come invest in Tanzania. You should allow Tanzanians to come invest in Kenya. At the moment, Kenyans are huge investors in Tanzania. And Tanzanians are minuscule in Kenya. We need more Tanzanians to come to Kenya and invest. We need more Ugandans to come here. So let's try and wake up to the new times where we are all equals, we all treat each other with respect, and we all understand that we need to work together to build a stronger East Africa. That's how you build a stronger Kenya. That's how I'll build a stronger Tanzania. Stronger Kenya, stronger Kenya, stronger Tanzania, stronger Uganda, stronger Rwanda is what will make us tick. That's what will make us grow into a serious economy. That's how we can create jobs in Kenya and in Tanzania, by being together and working together and cooperating. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Stanley Nyirangita from TV47, ladies and Cape Media. There are claims that a senior government official is behind the sale. Could you clarify and just clear the air on this particular claims?
Thank you. Bwana Stanley, I think I've explained myself. We are a business enterprise for many, many years. We invest in various industries. I have been in the media business for more than 26 years. I've explained it all. I invest where I see there's an opportunity and there's a return to my investment. This is not different. So I do not want to dignify that question with an answer other than that this is a business of ours. We have invested because we've seen an opportunity. And let me say this. When I invited His Highness in 2003 to come and invest in Tanzania with me through NMG, and he took up the majority shareholding. When I was selling the rest of the shares in 2006, I did say one thing to him. I said, anytime you want to exit media in East Africa, please consider me as an interested party. And he said to me, I shall bear that in mind. So I think that that tells you that this intention to get involved in the media in Kenya dates back many, many, many years ago. Just like we even looked at the Standard in, I can't remember now, but almost 15 years ago, to try and see if we could buy. And I spoke to the old man, and we had several meetings, but we didn't get far. The discussions broke down. So my intention to come and invest in Kenya media has been there for a very, very long time. It's not something that came up yesterday or day before yesterday. It goes as far back as 2006, when I was selling the majority of my shares to the Aga Khan and asking him that anytime, any day he wishes to exit the media industry in East Africa, I'll be very keen to invest. And I think this is a result of that discussion in 2006. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there are no questions, we shall thank you again graciously for honoring our invitation today, and we will bring this press briefing to a close. And I would like to just extend our thanks on behalf of the Taifa Group. And as we step out, we have refreshments in the back, and we look forward to hosting you.
Asante sana. Habi nako.
So tunakutega.
Nakutega?
Kwa piece. One piece.
I'm not. How did it go? That's all I.
Na mtazamaji, moja kwa moja kutoka hoteli moja hapa jijini Nairobi. Hii ni baada ya mwanabiashara kutoka Tanzania Rostam Azizi, mtazamaji, kikamilifu na pia kirasmi kuchukua usukani kutoka shirika la Aga Khan. Na basi mtazamaji, shirika la Nation Media Group sasa limetangaza rasmi kuuza kiasi cha hisa zake kwa kampuni ya Taarifa Limited. Hii inamaanisha kuwa shirika hili ambalo limekuwa chini ya Aga Khan sasa linauza asilimia ya 54.08 ya hisa anazomiliki kwa kampuni hiyo ya taarifa inayomilikiwa na mfanyabiashara maarufu wa asilia ya Tanzania Rostam Azizi, kama nilivyotaja hapo awali. Labda tudadavue tu kwa kidogo, kwa sababu amezungumza kabisa kwa kipindi kirefu na Wakenya na pia wananchi mbalimbali hapa nchini kupitia vyombo vya habari. Basi mtazamaji, historia kidogo ya Rostam Azizi ni kuwa ni mfanyabiashara mashuhuri anayetokea nchini Tanzania, na bila shaka amenunua 100% hisa za aliyekuwa mmoja wa wamiliki wa shirika hili Aga Khan kwa asilimia ya 54.08, lakini zake sasa ni 100%. Mtazamaji, pia kumekuwa na hoja ibuka kuhusiana na ujio wake, hasa kipindi hiki kuna masuala mengine ambayo yanaendelea hasa kuhusiana na masuala ya uongozi na pia siasa. Basi kukawa na maswali pale kutoka kwa vyombo vya habari kuhusiana na ujio wake huu. Basi kinaga ubaga, Rostam Azizi mtazamaji amefichua kuwa kuhusiana na uhusiano wake wa karibu na Rais William Ruto, ya kuwa ana marafiki wengi, kiwemo aliyekuwa rais wa 4 wa Uhuru, kiwemo Uhuru Kenyatta, na pia hayati Raila Odinga amemtaja kuwa alikuwa ni miongoni mwa marafiki wake, na pia anasema ana marafiki wengi kutoka mataifa mbalimbali. Kwa hivyo hiyo haifai kuwa hoja, na yuko tayari kuwekeza katika shirika hili la NMG. Mtazamaji, tupumue kidogo.